Hello everybody, so today I'm going to show you how to do design options. At Flow Design we have our four-step process. First we begin with define, which is kind of called existing conditions, but it's really not existing conditions. Define is much more than just existing conditions. Existing conditions belongs to define. Then step two, as we all know, is that envision stage where we dream, we look for precedents, we look for images, we have our wish list of all of the things that people want. Great, exciting stuff. Step three is design options or design. You would say, well, isn't this whole thing the design process? Yeah, but there is a little area dedicated to design. That's our flow zone. That's where we actually use everything we have from step one and step two, and then we create and we produce. Many people create design options in different ways. Here at Flow, we want to create design options in one way when it comes to how to use Revit to create a design option. I'm not talking about how you design, your own process, the way you sketch. That's none of my business. Is whatever makes you creative, that's great. But how do we use Revit to create design options? And that's what I'm going to show. So we have a little project here. I always like to show you in 3D what we're doing. So it's this little basement project that we're working on. And we are doing a couple things on this project. Inside, we're basically renovating the whole space. So I'm going to change the face to existing conditions. Laura was the one that created this, this existing conditions, and she's working on this project right now. One of our designers here, Flow Design, and we are creating basically a couple of options. So we have this one option here, which has been deemed as the option that does not work. I like people to actually name the options, by the way, and name it something that makes sense. That's something that it could be the Maserati option, it could be the most effective, it could be the most functional, it could be the compact, it could be whatever the name may be, whatever sparks you, inspires you as a name. But I do want people to name it. It is still required. So we have this right here, and it is one option as it is. Technically, it is, the whole thing is one option. So, well, but it is not within the Revit area for options. So if you go down here, this little button right here, it says design options. Creates and manages design options, sets and individual design options for the project. And to the right, you see this thing called main model. Well, everything is on the main model, but they could actually exist within an option. So think of this as, I guess, alternate realities. So the main model right now is everything. But if you create one option and then another option, those are different things that exist within the main model, but in two different realities. I don't want to complicate things. I'm just getting geeky, but that's the whole point. So what do we do here? So here, if you click on that little button, it says create. It gives you this main model, and then it says option set, and then options. Well, what is option set? I'm talking with my hands and I'm not being recorded, but imagine my hands are moving. So I'm not being face recording. So option sets are like, you could have different options for a project where you have different bathroom options, right? So you would say option set will be bathroom, and then you will create option 1 of bathroom and option 2 of bathroom. I'm going to explain it. It will make sense very shortly. So how do we do this? Well, you can say option set, and I'm going to use the same example as bathrooms. So we're going to say, well, is option set 1, which I'm going to rename bathrooms. It's just options about bathrooms. And then we're going to name 1 right here. We select it and then go rename. And then we're going to say, well, non-functional. I would never want to design anything that is non-functional. This is an example, and you probably would use this as a way of showing the client that something doesn't work, something that they imagined that worked. I was just talking to Laura about the steps that we take to do something. If you imagine the steps to do something and you actually do it, you will realize you missed steps. So this is something with clients. They think that it's as easy as 1, 2, 3, but it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and probably 10. So long story short, that's what it is. So we created this non-functional option. Now, keep in mind, the fact that I created a bathrooms option set and then it came with one option, as you saw, it comes with one, because you can't have an option set without at least one, right? It's like, well, you have to have something to start with. So it created this, but it doesn't mean that there is already a magical bathroom set, option set that exists that has things within it. It has nothing right now. It's empty. I just merely created a cup and I called it cup and water, but I didn't put water inside, right? So I hope my examples make sense to somebody other than me. So we have this option that has been created. Now we can create another option. There are multiple ways of creating another option, by the way. Is either saying new option and it will literally create a new option, right? That's great. I'm gonna delete it just for the purpose of showing you this. But let's say we've already created an option, and I always like to do this. Anybody that knows me knows that I don't like to create something out of nothing. I create something the first time, and if it is beautiful and great and I spend 20 hours on it, I will always start with that. And you will see these as you see more of my videos. I don't start from nothing. So let's say option 1 is non-functional. And let's say I already have everything I want within the non-functional thing. Meaning I have toilets and bathtubs and sinks and vanities and walls, all that stuff within this non-functional option. Why not duplicate that one and create my other option out of it? So then I go inside it, modify it as what I want it to be, and then it will make sense. I'm really teaching you how to be efficient right here. I am lazy as heck. I like to use all my brain power once on a couple of very important things, and then the rest I want to do it on autopilot. That's just me. That's how I love to do things. So long story short, so I already showed you how to create two options. I told you that the best way to create, for me, another option is by duplicating one that you started with. And I'm going to show you how to do that, okay? So we already created a bathrooms option set. And then we're going to create, we created an option within that that's called non-functional. There's nothing in there. One thing I want you to pay attention to, though, is that it says primary on parentheses. What does the primary mean? Well, it means that this is the thing you're going to be seeing on your main model. Remember alternate realities? So think of these as layers, or, I mean, in CAD is layers. Maybe it's just like, let's say a magical glass that allows you to see something. So your glasses, you put them on, you see everything that's on the main model is primary. If you want to see whatever the option 2 is, which we don't have right now, you have to activate it or put on those glasses or activate that layer or click it on, turn it on. It's like an on and off button, right? So you will activate that. I will get into all of the nitty gritty stuff about how to show things properly in Revit when it comes to like what option you want to see, how do you show it, and blah, blah, blah. But right now, let's just get right to creating the option. But do pay attention that there is a primary, okay? So we have this option. It's already created, but it has nothing in it. And you're like, well, Darwin, how do I make things go in it? Well, simple. Literally simple. Select all of the items you want within your option. Technically, you could design within it, within the option, right? You could be making things inside the option. But in this case, Laura has already created one option. And we're just going to move it to go inside. Now, I'm putting everything, though. Keep in mind, it was for bathroom only that I was messing with. But I'm putting everything just for the sake of, like, we still do have to do everything. And I'm probably going to rename it, like, full basement option. But I want you to understand the concept, like, that you can create an option set for the basement, for the entire basement as one, or you can create one for each bathroom separately. So right now we have selected all of the elements, I believe, that belong within that option. All right. What do? Literally, we go here and it says add to set. Yes. Add to. And if you have multiple sets, you see, it will have bathrooms, master bedroom, kitchen, whatever you've created. But in this case, it's just bathrooms. And it only has one option. So we're going to say, yep, non-functional option. So things I want you to keep in mind before you freak out. The first one is you will not be able to select what is within that option. You will not be able to select it. By the way, the things that I highlight here that are highlighted is because I never moved in to that option set. Never. They are not inside it, by the way. I don't like to like just hover and select. I like to like literally like grab the whole thing, because that's the only way you could actually select all of the things that belong with that within that option. It's difficult to grab them all. You know, like just hovering over it. But that's one thing, like a cabinet or something that's inside. So I moved it. All right. So you cannot select it. You're like, oh my God, Darwin, what do I do? I don't know. I'm freaking out. Well, it's okay. You just have to activate your option, and then you can move those things within that option. Great. Perfect. That works. All right. So every time you're on the main model and you're just moving things around, you're going to just basically like activate your option, and then you can work on it. Right? All right. So that's clear. So that I can make my point, which I explained before, I would like to create another option off of this option. It's like if you created, you know, a perfect bathroom, you're like, well, it doesn't work for this particular use, but I already have it. Let's duplicate that option. All right? And then we can say, well, this is the functional bathroom. All right? Great. Well, is it really? I always tell people, the fact that you call something something doesn't mean it is. Like, you can call this functional. Right now, it is the non-functional with a functional title. That nothing really changed, right? So, what do we do now? Well, we make it functional. Like, we actually mess with these walls and design the bathroom that we want in whichever way we want. So, what do we have going on? So, we have two different options. And now we get to play with the option 2. We've already created one. It's great, right? I'm not going to fight it. It's great as it is. But if you want to mess with it, you know, I don't like that in here. You know, I don't know. I'm going to delete that wall. And I'm going to move the toilet. And maybe I'm going to have it here. I'm going to move the tub. Maybe I'm going to, I guess, create a new tub and put it in here. Or here. Keep in mind, I'm just messing with this. Oh, sorry. I closed it by mistake. My bad. Okay, so I'm gonna pause this video right now, and then I'm gonna resume it. It happens to even the best of us that we lose all of our work. I have no idea how I did it, though. So this is what I'm gonna be thinking about it all night. How did I mess up with the model? I have no idea. All right, so I'm back. Yep, I'm back. So it's good that it crashed on me. I'll tell you why. Another thing, I always turn bad things into good things. Like a crash, I always see it as an opportunity of doing it better and faster. Yes. Why? Because I don't have more time. I have to do it faster. So, well, I was trying to select all of this and moving into options. By the way, I created an option. Instead of calling it bathroom, which doesn't make sense because we're doing the whole basement, it's called client's requested option and basement, right? Basement is the option set. Client's requested option is the one that we just created that we said is non-functional. And then we're going to create another option off of this. What do we do? Well, simple. We have to select everything in here and we got to move it into that option. How do we do it? We can say new. And then if you say new here, everything that's new and that is 3D is here. So I can just select it very quickly and I can move it into my option. Remember how I was struggling to actually select everything within this thing? It was like giving me a hard time. Well, easy. Now I have it. One problem. You cannot move elements that aren't like 3D into an option. Unless Revit changed this and I don't know it, but we'll try it. It's going to give me an error because like this up sign, it like it doesn't have a life. Like it doesn't have a soul. Like it doesn't exist. It's just a little piece of text. So, but let's see. So I'm gonna add all of this to my client's requested option. It said that there is an insert. Yeah, what it's saying is that this window belongs to a basement wall, and it's like a shoe belongs to a foot. So hey, what is going on? Where's my foot, right? So the window is saying, where is my wall? Like, I cannot be without it. I love my wall. I'm falling in love with it. So that's what it's saying. So it refuses to comply, right? It does not want to comply. It is what it is. I have no problem with it. I'm sorry. So you saw what I did? I changed this filter to show me what I want to see. This is one thing that Revit has. It has filters. It has face filters. It has all this great stuff that allows you to see what you want to see. Another thing I was going to do, before I told you that I can move these elements. By the way, they didn't move. They didn't comply. You see, like this dimension doesn't want to go to an option because it's like not a thin. It doesn't need to be in an option. So it just wants things that can be faced. That I don't even know how to call it. But let's just say they are animated. They are smart, right? So those are terms that people can relate to. This text is not smart, so it's dumb. So long story short, another thing that you could do if you want to move things to an option, and like you don't want to like even put the text in the option, you can filter it and you can say, well, I don't want text. I only want like, I don't want any of the text, and I'm gonna move all these things. Didn't matter because the process of moving it to my client's requested option itself cleaned out the fact that up and all of these lines don't want to go there. All right, so now we'll go back to our previous plus new filter. Well, it could be previous plus new. All right, and now we already have our option. And as I told you, you cannot select elements that have already been moved to an option. They belong there. They're inside. You gotta get wet. You gotta get into the cup of water to be able to touch it. So open the envelope, open the water, whatever it works with you, and then you can modify it. Now, I don't want to get too far. I want to go inside and I want to duplicate that client's option because it already has all of the elements I wanted. Why would I have to start looking for a sink and looking for a toilet and looking for a tub and looking for... No. It's already got all the things I want. So let's start there, right? So again, this is like my process of thinking. That's how I think. That's how I want everybody to think here. And if there's a faster way of doing it, I will always be up for it. So I'm not forcing people to actually do it my way or the highway. It's actually... what's the most effective? What's the fastest? What's the cleanest? What's the leanest? What's something that is going to generate value, right? We get paid by the hour. So if you do something within minutes, it's better, right? Because you can get to do more, right? And as a company, we all grow. That's how we make money. Everything I do, all of these videos I'm doing, it's not because I like talking. I hate it. I'm tired. It's the end of the day. It's 7:12 p.m. I just want to make it easier for you so that you can be better at what you do and you can focus on the things that really matter. Design, like, the things that really you want to do, all right? Imagine this is like a Tesla car. You know how to drive, whatever. Let the car drive itself, right? Isn't it better that way? So that way you can enjoy the ride. So let's just do this, and then now we're going to call this one, I guess, flow option. All right. Now, I wouldn't name it like this in any way, shape, or form out there. Like, you can name these more provocatives and put it in sheets with a very provocative and clean name. This is just for reference for you. All right. You can name it whatever you want, so long as it's not like insulting or stupid or whatever. You can make it something fun. So we created that option off of the other option. So what does that mean? Well, if you activate it, it will have all of these elements, and you can begin to modify it. Let's say that this thing goes there. This guy actually does not want to go there. He wants to go here. This, oh, look. This is the error I had before. I don't know why. I had this error before. And I didn't save it. And he died on me. So I learned from my mistakes. That's another thing. You got to learn from your mistakes. Me, there's nobody that takes more rounds to learn from his mistakes than me. Honestly, like, I take like a long time. So I don't want to waste your time right now while this opens. Look, let me just wait. Yep, so I was just explaining to Laura that the reason why it was crashing is because it's a bug that has to do with Revit and like this top wanting to be attached to this wall, which actually is outside of the option. Sometimes they don't want to be together. Just like the window here wants to be together with this wall. Like technically the only way you would actually get this window and this window to be inside an option is if you actually grab the wall that contains it. Okay? And there are more things. So like these are the errors. It's like there are more things in there that we can't move. So let's search. We already created our option 1 and our option 2. I'm going to mess with it so that it's realistic looking. It's not necessarily like a real thing. I'm just messing with it so that, again, it sort of makes sense. Oh, come on. These errors keep coming. If I cancel, it closes anyway. Oh, no, it didn't. Yeah. What am I doing?
The last time you pressed no. You want to save it and you said no.
So. I think I'm pressing something. Trying to be fast and I don't know what it is. So, Okay, so we moved that toilet from here. We got that. Whatever. Let's just draw a wall. I type A for wall. Look, it keeps. Oh, it's just Revit wanting to save. Like when I press escape more than once, it wants to save. I wonder if this has anything to do with the shortcut software I installed recently. All right, nope. I don't want to waste your time, guys. So, long story short, if I come here and say, this is what I want, this is my option, whatever, let's say the bed's not like that, it's like right here, whatever the case may be. You've already created two options, but they don't exist anywhere. Like you can't, they exist, yeah, but you can't see them, right? So you basically have to duplicate your view with detailing probably. And then you have to create this one, rename this one, and say, well, proposed basement option 1. And then this one we're gonna call proposed basement option 2. All right, but does the fact that I named the view option 1 or option 2 doesn't mean that it is an option 1 or option 2? Nope. Just like I said, the fact that you call it something doesn't mean it is. Like I've been called many things in my life, and I'm none of those. Okay, so what do I have to do so that it is that thing? Well, in this case, you got the power to actually make it so, and you're gonna have to type V as in volcano and G as in good. If you type VG and you go to design options, you can actually assign option 1 to this view, and it will always show option 1. See it? It's activated there. So even if you change it to option 2, it's not showing it. It shows nothing, right? Do you see how it's not highlighted and you cannot move it? You can only update option 1, because on VG, where I went is visibility graphics. That's what VG stands for. And you went to design options, and that's where you assigned a design option to this view. And you will grab this one, this sheet, put it into this view. You will put it into a sheet and you will name it appropriately. All right. Then option 2 will do the same thing, but in this case, VG options instead of automatic. Automatic is really, by the way, automatic is really saying whatever you call me, I'm going to be. You see, whatever you activate, I'm going to be. When you actually go to VG and you change it to option 2. Option 2. Now, it's not whatever you want to be here. It's just what I want it to be. And you can never update option 1 on an option 2 sort of view, okay? And then you will grab those and move them, all right? I'm going to save this for the sake of time so that Laura can continue on this. But this is where you would actually change your model, like do whatever changes you want. One thing I do sometimes, I sometimes grab the entire model. You saw how I grab only the new, like in the filter? I grab everything and put it on an option and then modify it accordingly. Why do I do that? So that I don't run into the issue with the window not wanting to move with the door and the wall and blah, 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 blah. Just grab the whole thing. So technically you have two models within the same place, in the same location, in a different reality. Think about that for a second. So that's what it is. That's really what it is. All right. It's better than like grabbing this model like you would do in SketchUp and moving it into another side and making a copy of it. No. That's a big no. All right. With that being said, you have everything you need. You can grab these options, moving into your project and updating it properly. I don't think there is much more that you would run into with this that will be required. I mean, this is your 24 minutes to mastery of design options with Darwin Fortuna, Flow Design Architects. Thank you very much.